Hey everybody, and a warm welcome to a new story. Today's story is called IF21 told my boyfriend M21 that he sometimes shows sexist behavior and he got really upset. Am I wrong here? From the dating_advice subreddit. I hope you like it and will enjoy the time. If you like my content and this kind of videos, please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel. As always, this story is told from the OP's point of view. Enjoy it. Sorry, but this has to be this long. I, 21, have been with my boyfriend, 21, for almost 4 years. We met in high school, got together when we were 18-19, and decided to do long distance when we enrolled in college, since our relationship was great. We live only about 2 hours from each other, small country, but we do live in different cities, but we see each other rarely, about once or twice a month, usually once, each time for about 3 days. As far as I can remember, I have always had trouble telling people how I feel, what I mean, think and what bothers me, and also hard time explaining stuff. I have been working on that, especially for the last year or two. So it is not that I just never say what bothers me, it's that I say it long after something problematic happens. It probably has something, if not everything, to do with the fact that I have had hard childhood. I was bullied through elementary school and always made fun of. My parents were mocking me when I was little, and when I cried and talked about my feelings or when I was wrong about something, I have never had privacy. I was often beaten up for little things, etc. My boyfriend knows nothing about this. My mother is now nothing like the person that raised me, but my father and my brother are still terrible people. They don't respect women, therefore they don't respect me, and for sure they don't see me as an equal human being, although I think they would never admit this. Once I finish college, I want nothing to do with them. My boyfriend and I have been arguing a lot lately, almost every day for the whole day. This started when one day he told me some really hurtful things, out of nowhere. He just used stuff that I have been telling him about me and stuff that had been happening to me, and he used everything against me. The only person I told these things was him, and I thought he supported me because firstly, he said that he did, and secondly, he's my boyfriend and should do so. For the whole day I cried and was feeling like worthless SHT. The person I trusted the most said things that I would never expect. That day was one of the worst days in a long time for me. I was so bad mentally that I got physically sick for a couple of days. My head hurts non-stop, and when I'm not crying I just feel dead. He then apologized, said that he was wrong and that he never should have said those things and that he doesn't know what got into him. He also said he would seek professional help. I could see he really was sorry, but that doesn't change the fact that he did say something, and what is worse, he meant that in that moment, maybe even still, but won't admit. I can't really trust him after that, but am more than willing to try and repair the relationship. We agreed we will talk about everything next time we see each other, which was supposed to be in about 10 days, although I think he should have come to me and apologized in person. A couple of days passed by and I thought a lot about what happened and realized there are some things I need to resolve with him. But then we got into another argument and I decided to tell him then, and I told him I think he sometimes shows sexist behavior. Why I think that? I am the one who always clean his room when we are together. He just lies on the bed and waits for me to finish so we can do something else. I always cook when we make food at home. When I cook, he often washes the dishes tough. He also often go to the market to buy ingredients that I need, or breakfast, etc. When we go grocery shopping together, he often says that I only buy expensive stuff of them, though they're not good quality, implying I don't know what is good, so the price is the only criteria that matters to me. I always physically prepare, shave, trim down there, myself for him before we get together and pay attention to how I look, unlike him. He sometimes makes jokes about how I am bad at orientation because I am a woman and women are bad at orientation. A couple of months into our relationship, he said that he can't wait to see some actress's boobs on TV. I told him that that wasn't really nice thing to say, also think. He of course can think other women are attractive, that is not the same thing at all. He told me I couldn't forbid him to find him attractive, even though I repeatedly told him that is not the issue. When my friend was crying because her boyfriend of 4 years stood her up when they agreed they'll go to a mall because she wanted to buy an eyeshadow palette, she knew exactly what palette she wanted. But I wouldn't see the problem even if she didn't. He said that of course a guy doesn't want to go shopping for makeup. He didn't want to go bra shopping with me. I thought that would be interesting for us to do. But he said something like he doesn't want to go shopping because that is just boring or whatever. Once in high school I asked him to help me paint my nails on my right hand. I am right-handed, so it is hard for me to do that by myself with my left hand. He said something like, haha, why would I do that? Last time we saw each other, he asked me what are our plans for the future. I kind of froze because he haven't said anything about that before and I already had all these issues. I didn't tell him anything specific. I probably looked like an idiot. I don't know what exactly I want to do with my life, career-wise but also other stuff-wise. I then said that maybe I would go abroad to enroll in a master's studies, or do some internships or something, after my bachelor studies. Because I don't think I could do something good without that. He then made some grimace, showing that wasn't what he wanted to hear, but then said he would maybe to the same thing. I asked him how is it normal for him to do that but not for me? It looked like he wasn't supportive of my education, career. He wants to have sex more than I do and always makes grimaces and gets offended when I say I don't want to. Now I understand this is an important issue and we definitely should be compatible that way. But the reason I don't want to have sex that much is that it is really unattractive to me when he doesn't clean, cook, care about himself. I feel like a mom and not a girlfriend. We have bad communication when arguing. He projects some picture on me, which is far away from the truth. He always say how he doesn't want to argue, implying that I do want. Nobody wants to argue, but if there is something we should argue about, we will. So I think it has something to do with sexism, in a way that as I said he projects some sexist bullshit on me. Because unconsciously he thinks women want to argue and men don't. One example, since I started college I haven't watched many movies, but I always tell him what did I watch, Ed? So about 2 months ago I watched a movie I was really impressed by and I of course told him so. I told him that was one of my favorites movies now. Then recently, we were talking and I said that we should watch that movie together and then he asked me if I have watched it already. I was shocked by this and asked him, how can you not know that? And he got all defensive saying I was passive-aggressive and that I wanted to argue and that I shouldn't react that way. His response to all of this. He said he is really sorry that that happened and that he would try acting differently. He said that happens because he is just lazy and not because he is sexist and/or thinks that is my job. I said that I don't really enjoy cleaning but that is just what has to be done. Maybe I am lazy too but that doesn't mean I would live in a dirty 5 times 5 square meters room. He didn't say anything about cooking now but he did say earlier that he doesn't know how. I said that I wasn't born with knowledge of cooking and that it is not that hard to follow a couple of instructions, aka the recipe. He did say a lot of times how he does the dishes when I cook and go to buy ingredients. Now, I don't ignore that at all but the fact that he does the dishes doesn't change the fact that he doesn't do other stuff, almost everything else. Also, he goes grocery shopping only because I make him. And I make him because he can't just do nothing. He also always have to comment how I never go with him. I don't go for a reason obviously. He didn't say anything about that to my recollection, but he probably said he was sorry for this too. He said that he is just lazy and didn't think it bothered me that he never shaves or trims down there before we meet. He always does that after we get together. I have in fact told him that it bothers me because I am always prepared for him. He never said I must do that, nor I say he has to. But we both prefer each other's intimate regions that way. I don't want him to always be shaved per meter, but never doing that does bother me. Also it kills the mood when he does that later. His response was again that that has absolutely nothing to do with sexism. He said it was a bad joke and wasn't funny. But again, nothing sexist about that. He also said that I was sexist by saying a lot of men that I see in public transportation or men I see on streets, stink of alcohol. I said several times that I didn't say or meant all men stink of alcohol, and the two are not the same. I don't think every man smells awful because of the fact that a lot more men than women stink of alcohol. But he said since women are statistically worse than men at orientation, I am too. Isn't this literally the definition of discrimination? He only accepts that he should not have done that, but don't accept the sexist part. He said he was really sorry, and shouldn't have said that, and that he is not that person anymore. But again, he said that is not sexist at all. Again, he was sorry and wrong, but that is not at all sexist. Again, he was sorry and shouldn't have said that, and should have gone with me, but also said that has nothing to do with sexism. First he said he was sorry and that he shouldn't have done that, but later he said he doesn't remember that, and also that he doesn't believe that had happened because of the next thing. He got really offended and couldn't believe that I would thought he wasn't supportive of my education. I told him that was how it looked. I then said I was sorry if I misunderstood his reaction, but wasn't sorry for saying what I thought was true. He's sorry. He didn't have any idea that is how I felt and would try to change his behavior. It does bother me a little that this is the issue he was most willing to solve. He's again sorry about the issue but says it has nothing to do with sexism. I really don't understand what was wrong with my reaction. He shouldn't have not known that, and I wasn't disrespectful. But he agreed that he should have known that. I told him a couple of days later that I thought he should have come, and he asked if he should now. But I told him not to, because I don't want him to come just because I want that. I want him to come because he wants to and he thinks it is the right thing to do. I also think that he doesn't really want to see me that much. Other stuff, important stuff, I always have to write something at least 2 times, often a lot more, so he would remember, understand, accept. He does have bad memory, but the thing is I am not really a talker, so I expect him to remember stuff. Also, he interprets my words in a way they weren't obviously meant to be interpreted. We have a history of repeated arguments. He would say he's sorry and then do the same thing later. I told him this is a huge problem, and because of this I don't really value his sorries. So basically, he does think he shouldn't have done all this, but thinks none of it was sexist and that it was rude of me to say that he is a sexist. He was really upset about that. I told him I don't think he's a sexist, but these couple of things that he does are. He then said that when someone shows rapist behavior, he is a rapist, meaning one can't be rapist only sometimes, which is right, but don't think that applies here. I really don't think of him as some sexist dude, I just think he subconsciously does some sexist things. There are a lot of stuff that is good in our relationship, otherwise I wouldn't be with him this long. I understand I told him loads of stuff and that the sexist part isn't easy to accept, and would be really sorry if I am wrong about it. Maybe I just have some issues with myself. I have no trouble admitting when I am not right. It is not about whining, it is about resolving the issues. So, am I wrong here? TLDR, I, F, 21, have been arguing with my long-distance boyfriend, M, 21, of almost 4 years a lot lately. I told him he sometimes shows sexist behavior. He admitted that everything he did was wrong, but is insistent that these things have absolutely nothing to do with sexism, and he got really upset and offended. What do you think about this story? Tell me your thought in the comments. If you liked the story and the content, please leave a like, subscribe and share this video. Also have a look into my playlist for more entertaining stories.